Yeah, today we will be discussing about the Struts 2 applications. While coming to the architecture of the Struts, actually what is a Struts? Struts is nothing but it is a MVC based application used to develop the Java web applications. So generally when a user or client sends the request, first it will go to the dispatcher. Like we have the filter dispatcher and Struts prepare and execute filter. It acts like a controller. So when the user requests, this is nothing but the request. The filter dispatcher will send the request to the interceptors. Generally, we have a group of interceptors. Like it can be one or many of the interceptors. What is the main use of interceptors is it is mainly used for logging or generally perform a pre and post processing logics. So if the interceptor validates it, it is mainly used for like validation of the forms also as well as. So the interceptors will then forward the request to the action class. Here we can consider the action class as nothing but the model. So if there are any DB activities, the action class will perform the DB activities. This is an optional step. The DB is not always mandatory. The request can go to the DB and the response can get from the DB. Generally, how the filter dispatcher knows which action class needs to get executed. So generally we have a struts.xml file. Where we will define all the configurations. The filter dispatcher will get the details from the strut.xml file. So once the request is valid and pass it through the interceptors, then it will send to the action class. This action class will contains one method, nothing but an execute method. We can define our own custom method, but as of now we will consider it consisting of a method known as execute method, which is executed when an action class is invoked. The main logic we need to write in the execute method. So once the action execute method is executed, then it will return a JSP page, which is nothing but the view. So this JSP page again sent through the interceptors, and from the interceptors again the response is sent back to the user or client. So this would be the general architecture of the struts. So whenever the user or client sends the request, first it will go to the filter dispatcher. In earlier versions of struts we use the filter dispatcher, and later version of the struts we are using the struts prepare and execute filter. So how the struts prepare and execute filter knows where to send the request. So in the struts.xml file we will write all the configurations for which action class, which for which request which action class need to be executed. So the request is then sent through the interceptors if we have any. The interceptors are mainly useful for logging or validating purposes. Once the interceptors execution is completed, if it returns the true, then it will forward it to the action class, and from the action class it will execute the execute method, and the execute method will return the response in the form of the view, and the view again goes through the interceptors in the reverse order of the interceptor stacks, and the response is sent back to the user. So now we will write a simple application. When a client suppose, for example, when a user or client hits the URL, based on the URL it needs to go to the struts prepare and execute filter, and the struts prepare and execute filter, then it will send the request to the action class. I am mentioning the action class as hello action. In the hello action we will implement the execute method, then it will return a success or error JSP. Either one of the page will get written from this hello action, and then the same page will display it to the user. So the request what we will map, the request is test hello, and the response we will get as we will hardcode it as success.jsp. I think you got it what we are going to do. The first step what we need to do is send the request as test hello from the browser, then it will go to the struts prepare and execute filter. Based on the configurations in the struts.xml file, we will call the hello action class, and the hello action class execute method will return the success.jsp page. The same success.jsp page we will show it to the user. For this, what are the prerequisites is, first we need to have the Java installed in our system. I am using Java 1.8, and we need to have an IDE. I am using the Eclipse. You can prefer whatever IDE you want, and I am using the Tomcat as my server. So first go to the terminal and verify your Java is installed properly or not, Java version. So I have already set up my path and home variable in my environment variables in my .shrc file. So my path and home variables are set. So now I'll create one folder, struts demo. In this I'll create one more folder for softwares. Software is nothing but the Tomcat. I will paste it here, and one more folder for Struts workspace. So Eclipse, I'll open my Struts workspace. It's in my desktop, Struts demo, Struts workspace. Okay, in the meantime, I'll go to the Apache Tomcat official website and I'll go to the Tomcat 9 and I'll download the 9.0.107 version, which is nothing but the zip file. So now we can go to the downloads folder and copy this and paste it in the softwares folder and extract here. Double click, it will get extracted. So first in the workspace we will set up our server. Go to the servers tab, click on create a new server, select the Apache Tomcat and select the version 9 and click on next and browse the Tomcat location, which is nothing but in the softwares folder. I need to go to the Tomcat and click next and finish. Now by default 8080 port is already configured for some other applications. You can double click on the configure server. Now it will show the configuration file where you can change the port number. I'm changing it to 8881. Okay, now once you can start the server and you can check whether the server is starting or not. So if you get this error, you may assume that already the port which you are using is already in use. So you can change the port again by clicking on this and change it to 8882 or anything, any number you want. Again I need to start my server. If you see here, now the server is up and running, so there is no issue with my port. I'm stopping it as of now. In the meantime, to create an application, what do we need to have? First we need to download the Struts dependencies. The latest I will download is the Struts 6.4. I'll download because it is the LTS. So go to the struts.apache.org, click on download, and here you can go to the prior versions and there you can select the 6.4.0 and here I need to download the minlib.zip. Minlib.zip is nothing but the jars which are essential for creating the application. If you see here, yeah, essential dependencies only is nothing but minlib.zip. So I have downloaded the, now again I'll copy this minlib.zip to the softwares and again I'll extract this 6.4.0. So now what you need to do is go to the Eclipse and create a first web application. Click on new, or otherwise you can go to the file and new and create a dynamic web project. We can give any name we want. Now I am giving the name as Struts to first application and click on next. And here I'll just remove this and I'll keep the folder name as src as of now, and click on OK and click on next. And here we can select the checkbox for generate the web.xml descriptor file, and here I'll change this current directory name to web content. You can keep as it is. Now my application is created. First we need to add the dependencies to the build path. Go to the project, right click and click on properties, and go to the Java build path and go to the libraries tab, and here you need to go to the class path and add external jars. Here what you need to do is go to the struts 6.4 and here go to the lib folder and select all the jars and click open and click apply and close. Now you have added it to the Java build path. Now you need to add this same jars to the deployment assembly also, because in the runtime whenever you are executing the application you need this all jar files. So go to the deployment assembly and click on, if you see here we are not adding any jars in our web.inf lib folder, so we need to add them. Click on Java build path entries. Now we have all these entries which we have declared here in the Java build path, and click on finish, click apply and close. If you see here, still you won't be able to see the all the jar files which we have added into the lib folder. These will come automatically when the application execution started in the server. If you want to see all the jars here, you can copy paste manually all the jars to the lib folder web.inf. So once you added the jars, what are the main steps which we are going to do here is, first we need to create the success or error page. So right click on the project, new and JSP file. Here you can create success.jsp and click next and finish. Here I'll just keep one h1, and inside h1 I'll make the text as success page. Similarly, I'll copy another file. I'll rename it to error.jsp. Now we will change the text to error. So now we have success page and error page. We need to have an action class and struts.xml file for configuration. So what we need to do is, we need to select the application, new, and create a action class. I am naming it as hello action and click finish. Here in this class we need to implement only one method, which is nothing but, we have already discussed, it will contains the method called execute. So public string execute. So just I'll print one system.println such that you will understand this method is executed. Hello action execute method executed. So finally we need to return the JSP page. Now I am just hard coding it to the success. So every time an hello action is called, success page will get rendered in the UI. So once we have created the action class, we need to define the configurations in for the struts.xml file. So just right click on src and click new, and here you can go to the other and go to the XML, and here select the XML file. Here you can rename it as struts.xml file and click next. Create file from the template and next and finish. So once after you created the XML file, how we will tell this XML file belongs to the struts? So for that, what we need to go is go for the struts official documentation, go to the documentation tab and click on get started. If you see here, just you can go for hello world struts application. Here you can go through the struts.xml file. Here it is the DTD. This DTD you need to declare in your XML file. After declaring the DTD, you need to declare the struts tag. So if you see here, now you are getting the error like the download external resources disabled. So what you need to do is you can download this file and manually assign it from your local repo. For now, just go to the browser and type. Now you have the folder. Now I am placing it into the software Struts 6.4 and paste, and I'll give this path. So I'll replace this path with my local path. Yeah, now the error has been resolved. So what you need to do here is you need to use the package tag. You can always have the reference for this, like package, and whatever the name you want, you can give anything, and you can create your custom name. Always package name equal to test hello, and it extends from the struts-default. After creating the package, we need to create an action tag. Here what action tag will do is, for the action we need to define a name. If you see here, as we previously mentioned, I am just giving the name as test hello. So the class which we need to use is hello action. So when the browser, the request comes as the test hello, it will execute the hello action class. In that execute method, we have written the success.jsp page. So we need to declare the result tag when success is written from the hello action execute method. It should redirect to the success.jsp page. Similarly, we need to declare for error page as well. So now we have declared our action and struts.xml file, but we need to keep this struts prepare and execute filter in our web.xml file as well. If you see here, yeah, this is the web.xml file. We need to keep it. So in the web.xml file, we need to use the filter with filter name as Any name we can give. I'm giving a struts 2. And for that, this filter which dispatcher we need to execute. Here we need to mention the filter class, which is nothing but struts prepare and execute filter. As we have discussed, this is the first it will receive the request, and based on this filter only it will process the data to the interceptor, and from this interceptor the data will go to the action class. So for this filter we need to use the filter mapping. For this filter mapping we need to use the filter name, and after filter name we need to use the URL pattern. For what request we need to redirect. So for every request we will redirect it to the struts prepare and execute filter. So now just we can simply right click on the application and run the application. Click on run on server and select the Tomcat and click next and click finish. Yeah, now we need to hit the request with test hello. Yeah, if you see, you have got the success page. In the console also you got hello action execute method is executed. Yeah, thank you.